Picture this, an impossible puzzle, a literal ticking clock, and an entire kingdom hanging by a single thread. Today, we're looking at two men who had absolute power and infinite wealth, only to be stripped down to the bone and forced to solve a mystery just to save their own lives. Welcome to This Explainer. We are diving deep into two wildly gripping thrillers of hidden wealth and total psychological collapse.
Okay, so we kick things off in Rupnagar. You've got King Suraj Pratap, a guy who seemingly has it all. We're talking a massive army, vaults literally overflowing with gold, and, as you might guess, a terrifyingly fragile ego to match. He goes around claiming no one on Earth can match his intellect, but then there's a massive security breach. The heavy palace doors swing wide open, and it's not some conquering general walking through. No, it's a ragged, dust-covered 10-year-old boy. And this kid doesn't even flinch. He marches right up to the most powerful man in the kingdom and drops an earth-shattering ultimatum. Answer my 3 questions in 7 days or surrender your throne.
Boom! The clock starts ticking. Day 1, the king is super arrogant. He assumes he's going to easily crush this kid's challenge. But Day 1 bleeds into Day 3. Real panic sets in. He summons the absolute greatest minds in the land, but the grand hall is just dead silent. Nobody knows the answers. The king stops eating. He stops sleeping. He can actually feel his empire slipping right through his fingers. And by Day 4, pure desperation pushes him to do the unthinkable.
See, the boy's weapons weren't swords at all. They were riddles. So try to solve this alongside the king right now. The first target is this. What is always with you, but never tires? When you're happy, it looks happy. When you're sad, it's sad. It has absolutely no physical body, and you can never, ever touch it. The king, who is supposedly this master of ancient texts, draws a complete and terrifying blank.
Then comes the second riddle, and it just tightens the noose. What treasure grows the more you share it, but instantly vanishes the moment you try to hide it? The kid adds that it's a treasure possessed by both the king and the beggar. But again, absolute crickets in the royal court. Nobody has a clue.
And then, the fatal blow. What invisible power has no eyes but sees everything, no hands but moves mountains? A force so incredibly volatile it can turn a king into a beggar overnight. This final ultimatum just completely breaks him. Suraj Pratap literally strips off his golden robes, abandons his royal guards, and slips out into the dark, unknown, gritty alleys of his own city.
To survive this, the king has to go deep undercover. He's dressed in torn rags, wandering the streets completely unrecognized, and he is terrified of assassination or discovery. Totally exhausted, he finally begs for shelter at this impoverished little hut. An old woman feeds him, and in a moment of pure despair, he confesses his true identity to her. But she doesn't just hand him the answers. Instead, she gives him a cryptic map. She tells him the truth is actually hiding right in plain sight. He just needs to know where to look.
So it's dawn. The king is standing by the river, watching a poor fisherman cast his net. Suddenly, the first major twist hits him. He watches a shape moving perfectly in sync with the fisherman across the water. The untiring companion that reflects your every emotion but cannot be touched. It's a shadow. Click. The first lock opens.
Fast forward to high noon in the incredibly crowded market. Still following the woman's map, he watches a starving beggar. Now this man literally has nothing, yet when a single coin is dropped into his bowl, he unleashes this flood of genuine joy and blessings. It's a wealth that never runs dry. The king realizes the second truth right then and there. Love and kindness. It multiplies when given away, but vanishes if you hoard it. Click. The second lock opens.
Finally, dusk hits. The king enters a quiet temple and watches an old, blind priest. This man has no sight, no political power, yet his face radiates this fearless certainty that the king has never once seen in his greatest generals. And boom, the final mystery is solved. Trust and belief. It's the unseen force that guides the blind, and honestly, the only thing keeping the king himself from becoming a beggar. Armed with these 3 truths, the king rushes back, answers the riddles just in time, and saves his own life.
Next up, Section 2, The Heir's Rapid Descent, A Fortune Squandered.
For our second thriller arc, we're swapping out ancient kingdoms for the modern streets of Old Delhi. Enter Samir. He inherited this massive corporate empire, but his grip on reality is seriously slipping. What we're looking at here is the exact anatomy of a freefall. Step 1. Arrogant, infinite spending. Step 2. A swarm of fake friends who constantly flatter his ego while slowly bleeding him completely dry. Step 3. The blackout. The literal second the money runs out, every single friend vanishes. Poof, gone. Samir is left entirely alone in the decaying dark of his massive mansion.
Pushed right to the absolute brink, Samir starts being haunted by this vivid, really eerie dream. His late father appears to him, offering this ghostly lifeline. He tells Samir to go down to the locked underground room beneath the mansion, this pitch-black, cobweb-filled basement, where a hidden treasure is waiting to save his life.
Samir snaps awake in a cold sweat. He frantically hunts down the rusted key, rushes into the dark, and violently pries open this heavy wooden chest. He is fully expecting immediate financial salvation here. Stacks of gold, hidden cash, you name it. The ultimate bailout. But what he finds instead is a devastating bait to switch. The chest is totally financially empty. There's nothing inside but dust and some old childhood photo albums.
But here's the thing. As he's flipping through these albums with a flashlight, the true treasure clicks into place. It wasn't gold at all. It was Akash, his absolute best friend from childhood, a guy he abandoned years ago to hang out with those fake sycophants. Samir manages to track him down, and the real twist here, Akash doesn't just hand him a stack of cash. No, he gives him a lifeline. Together, they rebuild that ruined mansion into a thriving heritage hotel, and with his newly recovered wealth, Samir actually goes on to build a free hospital in his father's name.
So we have two men on the brink of total ruin, stripped of absolutely everything, and it literally took a complete collapse for both of them to realize that their most powerful life-saving assets couldn't be locked away in some vault. It was the shadow of their actions, the love they shared, and the true friends they had completely forgotten. So I'm going to leave you with this to think about as we wrap up this explainer. If your ticking clock ran out and you lost absolutely everything tomorrow, what hidden treasure in your life would actually save you?